What is up, my Pika crew? This is the ThePikaWu, and welcome to another black and white Wi-Fi battle. This one's going to be an OU match against a guy called the Masculine Basculin. He's got an awesome name, and he has a YouTube channel. He does post Pokemon Wi-Fi battles, so be sure to check him out. After the match will be in the description below. Now, looking at his team, he's got a very offensive team that relies on 3 Dragon-type Pokemon. He's got the Haxorus, Salamence, and the Latios. They are all very dangerous. And then he has Magnezone to trap my Steel types so that his Dragon-type Pokemon can be more threatening. And then he has Skarmory and Mamoswine as his other 2 Pokemon. Now on my side, I've got a very offensive team as well. And one Pokemon that I think will do a very good job against my opponent's team is going to be my Hydreigon, because it has the Fire Blast and Draco Meteor combination. And with those 2 moves, I can deal super effective damage against this entire team. So yeah, my main goal is just to use Hydreigon as much as possible. So I hope you guys enjoy the battle. So I'm going to lead off with a Hydreigon, as my opponent's going to lead off with a Magnezone. And first off, I don't know if it's Hydreigon or Hydreigon as the correct pronunciation, but through this battle, I'm just going to pronounce it as Hydreigon. So my Hydreigon's going to go for the Fire Blast, and it's going to deal a ton of damage against his Magnezone. I just missed the KO, but getting that damage is really important because Magnezone is a very dangerous threat because it can potentially trap my Ferrothorn, and I really need Ferrothorn alive late game because he has a lot of Dragon-type Pokemon, and I need to have my Steel resist. So he is going to bring in the Latios on the switch, knowing that I am locked into the Fire Blast and I'm kind of threatened out by the Latios. So he's going to make a really nice double back into his Magnezone because he knows my 2 switch-ins against his Latios are going to be either the Jellicent and the Ferrothorn. And if he got my Ferrothorn on the switch, he could trap me and take me out with a Hidden Power of Fire. So that was a really great play on my opponent's part. So he is going to go for the Volt Switch. I am going to bring in my Ferrothorn on the Volt Switch because I resist the hit. And if he wants to go for the Flash Cannon, predicting me to bring in Landorus on the predicted Volt Switch, I also resist that hit with Ferrothorn as well. But he is going to get the Switch initiative, he's going to bring in the Salamence, and the best Pokemon that can handle Salamence is definitely my Reuniclus, because if he is a Mixed Mence, I can take a Fire Blast, and if he wants to bluff the Fire Blast and set up a Dragon Dance on the Switch, I can deal with a physical attacking Salamence as well, because I am max HP, max defense. Unfortunately, I am not going to be able to take a Fire Blast and a Draco Meteor combination, and I am going to get taken down. But now that my Reuniclus is down, I can bring in a good counter, bring in my Hydreigon because it is very threatening, and I am going to go for the U-turn, anticipating him to switch out. He is going to end up bringing the Skarmory, which is very, very good for me because I can counter him with my Infernape, and I can deal heavy damage against him with my Flare Blitz. And it's really important to deal damage against his Skarmory, because if I take down his Skarmory, then he basically does not have any more Steel types. And without any Steel types, my Hydreigon is going to be very threatening with my super effective Draco Meteor. So I am going to go ahead and go for the Flare Blitz. It is barely going to take him out, but he is going to take himself out with the Brave Bird, and it is going to be a double down. But although I lose my Infernape, it is definitely a beneficial trade-off because he really has nothing to take a Choice Scarf Hydreigon anymore. So I'm just going to bring in my Hydreigon on the switch as he brings in the Latios. And Latios, it's most likely going to switch out because it doesn't want to take a Draco Meteor. So I'm just going to go ahead and U-turn just to finish off the Magnezone. And the reason why I went for the U-turn instead of the Draco Meteor is because if I went for the Draco, it would put me at -2 special attack, and then he can take advantage of that by bringing in his own Latios again, or his Mamoswine. So I am just going to U-turn out, take him out, and bring in my Ferrothorn. And I know he's probably going to bring in the Mence again because it has the Fire Blast, but I'm not really bringing the Salamence that much since I do have a specially defensive Jellicent that can take both the Fire Blast and the Draco Meteor if he wants to go for it. So I am going to take the hit. It is just going to do a little over half, which isn't too bad because I can recover off all the damage later on. I am going to decide not to recover off now because I want to scout what kind of physical attacks he has as a Mixed Mence. So I am going to bring in my Landorus instead to get the Intimidate ability off to lower its attack, and to scout what kind of moves he has. Turns out he has the Outrage, and he's going to lock himself into the Outrage. And even after the Intimidate, it does a lot of damage. It does around 33%, which is very, very scary. Instead of setting up the Stealth Rocks, I just want to flat out kill the Salamence. And I think that was a smart choice because if he did get the 2-turn Outrage and I set up Stealth Rocks, then he can switch out and use the Salamence later on. and that would be very, very bad. So luckily for me, I just flat out take him out, and I no longer have to worry about his Salamence anymore. But now that his Salamence is dead, he can bring in his Mamoswine, and Mamoswine, looking at my team, is going to be a very big threat because my Jellicent is going to get 2-hit KO'd by Icicle Crash. My Ferrothorn probably cannot take 2 Icicle Crashes, my Landorus cannot take an Icicle Crash, and my Hydreigon can get taken down by an Ice Shard. So this is very, very bad. So first I have to just shuffle around with my team to get the Intimidate ability. Hopefully he doesn't go for the Icicle Crash against my Landorus. If that was the case, then that would have been very bad news for me. But luckily for me, he goes for the Earthquake as I bring in my Landorus. And then I am just going to bring in my Jellicent to fodder my Jellicent, because I'm thinking it's not really important anymore. This Mamoswine is going to be a big counter, and I have really low speed, so I don't think I will get a recover off in the future. So I am just going to sack my Jellicent here just to regain momentum and bring in my Hydreigon, because I know after the -1 attack, my Hydreigon can live an Ice Shard, but if I don't get the Intimidate ability off, then he can take me out with a Life Orb Ice Shard. So I am just going to go ahead and fire off a Draco Meteor, take down anything on his team. He's going to decide to sack his Latios, which is really smart because it is just going to get outsped by my Hydreigon, and it's not really an important member on his team anymore. So yeah, Latios is going to get taken down. He has 2 Pokemon left, his Mamoswine and his Haxorus. So he's going to bring in the Mamoswine again. I'm really scared of it, and I'm thinking I have to go ahead and bring in my Ferrothorn to take the hit, to take the Icicle Crash. I take it, and I take it well, so this is actually really, really good news. But I know he probably has a superpower, and I don't want to lose my Ferrothorn just yet. I know that this Mamoswine probably has the superpower, and I'm just going to let my Landorus take the hit and get the Intimidate ability simultaneously. But after looking at the battle, if I foddered off my Ferrothorn there, it would have put me at the same situation, because I would just go for the Draco Meteor and he would go for the Ice Shard, but with the -1 attack from the superpower, I would be able to live the hit, and I would be able to just clean his team with Hydreigon. But instead of foddering my Ferrothorn there, I am going to prolong the match a little more. I am going to go ahead and just shuffle around, bring in Ferrothorn, bring in Landorus, but now I'm just going to bring in Ferrothorn and stick with Ferrothorn. I know I can live pretty much any hit with the -2 attack, and I can finish him off with a Gyro Ball or Power Whip, but he is going to flinch me with an Icicle Crash. I know I can live another one, so that's not too big of a deal, and he's going to continuously just go for the Ice move in the case that I switch out into Landorus, but I don't, and I am going to take down the Mamoswine. So yeah, he has one last Pokemon, and that is his Haxorus, but this was a really smart play, actually letting my Ferrothorn survive, because he knows that if my Ferrothorn dies, then I can bring in my Hydreigon and finish off his last Pokemon. But instead, because I have my Ferrothorn out, he can actually live a Gyro Ball and then finish me off with an Outrage. And if he gets a 3-turn Outrage, he can potentially take me out, especially if he is Jolly Nature, because I am Modest Nature on my Hydreigon, so if he is Jolly, he can outspeed me, and he can pretty much clean my whole team with Outrage. So I am just going to get the Intimidate ability off with my Landorus. My Landorus is going to get taken down, and this is very bad news for me, because this is the moment of truth. Let's see who outspeeds. Whoever outspeeds is basically going to win, but luckily for me, he is Adamant Nature, and I can outspeed, and I can take him out. And it is going to be a very close 2-0. It could have been anyone's game, but luckily for me, I am going to be the winner. So that is going to be the match. Hope you guys enjoyed the battle. If you guys did, feel free to leave a like, favorite, and a comment. And thank you for watching my battle. This is the ThePikaWu. Stay tuned for the comment question of the day. And if you guys haven't joined the Pika Crew already, you can join the Pika Crew by subscribing. Peace out, guys.